Let's play this clip about Bernie on Meet the Press on Sunday, because it's going to be fascinating to see. Well, I don't want to overstate this. Fascinating might be a little too strong of a word. But it'd be mildly interesting to find out, like, if the tone of a show like this changes, where, the drumbeat has been, the Democrats suffered because of defund the police and blank, blank, blank. And even, the deployment of millions of dollars couldn't save a lot of these Democrats who are just bucking, even, Schrader bucked the Build Back Better plan. Now, of course, Manchin's not going to have that problem, but the narrative still.
But Sinema might down the road.
Sinema might. But here is Bernie Sanders on Chuck Todd's program. And Chuck Todd can't really sort of wrap his arms around what everyone seems to know. It's fascinating.
Okay, everything you said there was being addressed in Build Back Better. Okay, it wasn't as big as you wanted it. It was too big for some. But why do we have nothing? Right? That is the head scratcher here. Understand you don't have it all. Why is it zero? Why is
pause
it
it. Pause it for 1 second. I just want to be clear on what the timing of this was. This was this Sunday. This was not Chuck Todd a year ago speculating that it is not going to pass. In other words, we all know why it didn't pass. We know exactly why it didn't pass. Chuck Todd presumably has a whole staff who could tell him why it didn't pass.
Go ask somebody in West Virginia.
Exactly. Go reverse a little bit and then...
That is the head scratcher here. Understand you don't have it all. Why is it zero? Why is there nothing?
It should not be a head scratcher. You got two members of the Senate, Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema, who have sabotaged what the president has been fighting.
That's a strong word, sabotage.
Sabotage. Well, you help me out with a better word here. You got 48 members of the Senate who wanted to go forward with an agenda that helped working families, that was prepared to take on the wealthy and the powerful. You got a president who wanted to do that. You had two people who prevented us from doing that. You have a better word than sabotage? That's fine, but I think that is the right word. And I think pressure has got to be put on the part of people in West Virginia, in Arizona, to say, you know what, why don't you stand up for ordinary Americans, not just your wealthy campaign contributors? Why don't you have the guts to take on the drug companies and the insurance companies and the fossil fuel industry?
So let me...
It's literally like the press of Chuck Todd's ilk. Their brains are collectively malfunctioning with, like, when they're unable to blame progressives for a Democratic president's agenda falling apart.
It's like pouring water on like some type of like a electronics board.
Yeah.
It just like it completely short circuits them. Sabotage, that's a strong word. Do you mean that they literally like put dynamite underneath the piece of legislation? Like, no, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you would have no problem, frankly, using that word if it was about, I don't know, Ilhan Omar or the man that you're speaking to right now. It's and the problem is that, just even from what our guest that we had today in terms of the dynamics between presidents and the press, MSNBC is the most left of center mass media outlets in the country. And this game that they all play there, and almost all of the hosts, short of like maybe a couple at night, have always played this game to one way or another, which is we're just not going to recognize the fact that the moderates, so-called moderates or centrists, have absolutely no constituency. And within the Democratic Party, just none. And completely ignore this. So that they're keeping everybody who's watching that program, for the most part, Democratic voters, keeping them completely in the dark as to what exactly is the dynamic here.
I mean, that's asking them to acknowledge that the center has no sort of constituency is like having like people in the Vatican say heliocentrism is.
Yes, it's honestly, it's just it's absurd.
They also, if you want to talk about who actually, maybe not sabotage, but who helped kill Build Back Better in general, it's literally everybody except the progressives. I mean, it's everybody that went along with
the decoupling.
The decoupling.
Yep.
So there are multiple murderers of Build Back Better here.
That's a strong word.
Yeah, right. I know I shouldn't use that. But
putting to sleepers. How about that? Putting to bed.
Bernie is frankly being generous by just saying it's Manchin and Sinema.
Yes. The president also, to be fair, blew it, and Pelosi blew it, and Schumer blew it. But at the end of the day, yes, it was because of Sinema and Manchin. I mean, yeah, there's sabotage.